Two teams coming off losses last week. Two teams that generally need a victory today to crack that four-team Ivy League tournament field. Princeton, one of three home teams today in Ivy-on-Ivy matchups. If all three home teams win, Princeton would have a chance to host the Ivy League tournament. With a loss today, the Tigers would need some help. They would need a Dartmouth freshman.
A lot of goal scorers were playing different positions. Alex Slusher, 40-plus goals. He played midfield 2 years ago.
Faceoff wings critical. Cornell controls the game's second faceoff. Caleb Newman with the pole with the ground ball. Gets it over to Christopher Davis, who gets harassed in the midfield. Bo Petter, still just a few moments ago, 1-1 early on. Last time these teams met, final day of the 2019 regular season up in Ithaca, 14-13 Cornell. Clark Pedersen had a game-winning goal with 4 seconds to go. Stevens, ground ball off the face-off wing. Chris Brown got underneath his man but lost the angle, so it's back to X for Coulter. Truly impressive. 2-1 Cornell, back-to-back tallies for the Big Red as Sandoval leaves it. Scooped up by Angelo Petrakis, so face-offs 2-2.
Gone conclusion, it was in the goal. Made it look like it was practice.
Two starters on defense that are seniors. Dom Doria, Ian Jacobs out of the lineup today. They're replaced by a freshman and a sophomore, along with the senior All-America candidate Gavin Adler.
Sandoval back.
So Chris Brown, 1 goal shy of 100, 1 goal shy of the 5th 30-goal, 30-assist season in Princeton history.
On the door in a lot of these games.
The Ivy League, 6 of the top 11 RPI. Princeton, Penn, Brown, Yale, Cornell, and Harvard in that order. 6 of the top 14 in the Inside Lacrosse media poll. 7 Ivy League teams that combined 38-10 against non-conference opponents. All 7 teams above 500 out of conference.
And that tells you all you need to know. You go look at the RPI, and it's just Ivy, Ivy, Ivy.
Princeton.
Giving up 6 goals in the first quarter, I would stay between the pipes.
And that's a look that we haven't really seen a lot of over his career as a starter from Eric Peters.
So you give up, 20 goals in that tight Penn game earlier this year. And look what they've done away from home so far here in the first.
Clean face-off win by Sandoval. Gets it into Slusher on the doorstep. Mackesy and the Tigers get one back. Clean face-off win starts up the offense, and then tic-tac-toe for the goal.
These Tiger fans, they're here in numbers too. We've got a pretty even split here in the stands, and it is packed. And this is big for momentum. Cornell just felt like it was getting away from the Tigers in terms of momentum, in terms of possession. Coulter Mackesy, the composure from the freshman, couple goals today, 21st of the season, just burst onto the scene early. He was, hovering around 4th or 5th attackman coming into the season. No longer. He's going to be on the field for the duration of his career as a Tiger.
Coulter Mackesy last week, his second career 4-goal game in that loss at Harvard. He burst onto the scene with 4 goals on that Friday night against Rutgers as Cornell wins the faceoff, but throws it.
Keep going at it until Peters proves he can stop it.
Princeton, the number 2 scoring defense in the Ivy League, a week after they give Milliman left to replace Dave Petramala at Johns Hopkins in 2020.
And what a job he's done, especially navigating COVID with the Ivy League, taking the year off to maintain this roster and this quality of play.
The Brunswick School, he's charged with defending the Ivy League's leading goal scorer, John Piatelli.
Another ground ball won by Cornell. Should be.
Yep, there it is.
It's harder to make those substitutions as you're going down the field. You need players that can play both ways. And that time,
face-off violation on Petrakis.
Yeah, there was one on Princeton earlier, now one on Cornell. Granted that they can get above goal line extended, turn, and score. Princeton needs to make a concerted effort to stop that element of their game and make them try to score a different way.
Clean and tidy.
Behind the cage, so much of it.
Princeton needs a face-off win here. Instead, it caroms to the back line, and Jack follows. Number 14 playing his.
It's just a puzzle. You always have to replace the pieces that leave.
C.J. Kirstad, the first quarter hat trick. Michael Long completes his hat trick here late in the second. Another face-off win and another ground ball for Cornell. 12-7 advantage of the face-off.
12 face-off wins. Those are the little things that give you possessions. Possessions give you goals, and goals give you a 7-goal lead in a huge game in the final game of the regular season. As a flag flies, and Princeton will pay for this one.
First times we've seen the laundry come out. A Cornell player gets toppled. Billings touches up, and Cornell will go man up for the first time today.
Mentality. A big comeback is needed.
What a day for Angelo Petrakis.
Yes. Petrakis says, no, not today.
15 of 22 at the face-off X. Shots
happen, but a lot of good things need to happen in this second half for the Tigers.
3 goals on just 4 shots for Mackesy, the freshman from Bronxville, New York. One of 5 Princeton Tigers. Good are they at home? They've won 13 straight, 7-0 this year. They were 4-0 at home in 2020.
Pushes it forward.
Sandoval overruns it, trickles back towards the net of Erlin, and finally it's Chris Brown coming away with it. Here's a shot, kick save, Erlin and classmates.
Cody, I saw him here early. He was here early at Class of 52. I said, do you have season tickets? He said, I sure do.
Critical face-off. Adler comes away with another ground ball, and finally a possession. It's been a while for Cornell. It was an 8 RPI Division I men's lacrosse Ivy League teams as Sandoval wins the face-off, and Nifty throws it behind the back to Stevens. Ivy League's Vardaro is the third man on the attack. Chris Brown, the returning starter. Alex Slusher, the obvious choice to slide down from midfield. They were looking at Vardaro. Here's Stevens on the run off the Sandoval face-off win. Princeton cuts it to 4.
Well, if you went away from us before halftime and you just turned the game back, welcome back to Princeton Cornell. The game we expected is here. Jake Stevens wants something to say about the Ivy League title.
Matt Madelon, his recruiting emphasis has been on gritty, tough-nosed two-way midfielders. Jake Stevenson personifies what he wants this program to look like. Big face-off win by Sandoval, who's had a big second half. Sandoval to Stevens, here we go again.
Wow, this is a totally different game. This is a totally different Princeton. That was quite the carom.
Coulter Mackesy really burst onto the scene, that 4-goal game against Rutgers. That was what, number 3 against number 4?
Stevens
shovel pass, Mackesy. Rolls around the defender. Erlin goes down low to get the stop, but it kicks out.
He's out and in. It's Princeton ball. That was quite the carom.
Coulter Mackesy really burst onto the scene, that 4-goal game against Rutgers. That was what, number 3 against number 4?
Stevens
shovel pass, Mackesy. Rolls around the defender. Erlin goes down low to get the stop, but it kicks out.
He's out and in. It's Princeton ball. Out and in. You cannot leave the crease and re-enter it with the ball. Heads up play.
14th freshman in program history with 10 goals and 10 assists. Princeton's outscored Cornell 8-2 in the third quarter, and it started with that man at the face-off X, number 35, Tyler Sandoval. He's been a man on a mission. And a chunk of time, he suffered an injury the second game of the season on a Tuesday night against Binghamton. Came back 2 weeks ago against Dartmouth. Another one of those products out of the Brunswick school. It's Alex Slusher with the ground ball. Slusher fighting his way through. He draws the crossbar. That would have made it a 1-goal lacrosse, coaching her final regular season game.
What a day on campus.
How about this? Chris Saylor, 429 career wins. That's after the Team USA this summer in Ireland for the under-21 national team. One of 26 players that'll head out to Ireland as part of the World Championships. For the under-21 national team. One of 26 players that'll head out to Ireland as part of the World Championships. Princeton a couple of years ago had Michael Sowers and Austin Sims play for Team USA. Looking for the tie. Slusher. Erlin comes up and meets. Came into the day with 46 goals, 4 ahead of Matt Brandow for Yale. Back to a 2-goal lead. Critical face-off. Tigers had the first crack at it with Chris Brown. And he's not able to keep it in bounds. It'll go to Cornell with 8:46 to play.
Spot to give Cornell a 3-goal lead, which now seems like a big one.
Sandoval back into the faceoff. X wins it cleanly. So faceoffs now 18-17 Princeton. Big reason why the Tigers have managed to claw back into this one. 2019 final day of the regular season in Ithaca. 14-13 Cornell. It's a 2-goal game as we return to play. Face-off win for the Tigers, and the shot by Slushers wide.
Again, for the good of the facility, if that one had gone through, the bleachers go with it. Holy moly, this quarter to take home a share of the Ivy League title.
Fourth of the day for Piatelli, ensuing face-off. Gobbled up by the Big Red. Here's Bardwell, airs the pass. Pinballs off a couple of players, hit long in the helmet. Big Red coming away with it. Angelo Petrakis, the face-off man, get it into Michael Long. He'll run out.